this is why home court matters. This is why you can't have off days. This is why we can't be 11th in the league in defense, right? Like, we got to get to at least middle of the pack, all of those different things. And so as a competitor, it's
seismic shift in the WNBA landscape, one that has fans buzzing, analysts raving, and players ready to rewrite the narrative. Stephanie White, a revered figure in basketball, has taken the helm as head coach of the Indiana Fever, and her bold vision for Caitlin Clark and the team is nothing short of electrifying. White recently shared insights that sent shockwaves through the basketball community, offering a glimpse into the future of Caitlin Clark, a player she describes as a generational talent poised to redefine the sport. But this isn't just about Clark's brilliance. It's about why home court matters, why defensive lapses can't be tolerated, and why the Fever must rise to the challenge of championship contention.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to coach generational talents.
Yeah.
And that outweighs the other stuff that we might have to deal with.
Yeah. Well,
buckle up, because what White revealed could alter your expectations for the season ahead. Are you ready for what's coming? The foundation of championship aspirations. At the heart of Stephanie White's philosophy is a relentless pursuit of excellence. This is why home court matters, she declared in a recent interview, her voice brimming with conviction. This is why we can't afford off nights. This is why we can't languish at 11th in the league in defense. We've got to climb to at least the middle of the pack, ideally higher. These are the building blocks of a championship team. For White, these aren't just buzzwords, they're a blueprint. As a competitor, she thrives on the challenge of molding a roster brimming with potential into a cohesive, dominant force. Her excitement is palpable, not just because of the talent at her disposal, but because of the opportunity to coach players who could etch their names into basketball history. It's exhilarating, she said, her eyes gleaming with the fire of someone who lives for the game. To coach generational talents, to shape their growth, that outweighs any obstacles we might face. White's vision is clear. The Indiana Fever must lay a foundation rooted in discipline, synergy, and resilience. Home court advantage, she argues, isn't just about crowd noise or familiar rims. It's about establishing a fortress where opponents dread to tread. It's about consistency, ensuring that every game reflects the team's identity. And defensively, it's about transforming a unit that's been porous into one that stifles opponents with relentless effort and strategic precision. Caitlin Clark.
Laying the foundation for this is what we have to do to compete at a championship level.
Yeah.
Like this is why home court matters. This is why you can't have off days. This is why we can't be 11th.
A generational talent. No discussion of the Fever's future is complete without Caitlin Clark, the supernova whose meteoric rise has captivated the basketball world. White doesn't mince words when describing Clark. She's phenomenal, she said, her tone a mix of awe and admiration. Her court vision, her scoring prowess, her leadership, these are qualities that set her apart. She's not just good. She's a generational talent, the kind of player who redefines what's possible. Clark's statistics tell a story of dominance. Last season, she averaged jaw-dropping numbers, torching defenses with her long-range shooting and playmaking wizardry. But numbers only scratch the surface. Clark possesses an intangible quality, a competitive fire that burns brighter with every challenge. Her ability to elevate her teammates, to make the impossible look routine, is what makes her special. White, a seasoned analyst and coach with a keen eye for talent, has studied Clark from every angle. As an opponent, she once devised game plans to neutralize Clark's brilliance. We tried to make her uncomfortable, White admitted with a wry smile. We'd send multiple bodies, push her to her weaker spots, disrupt her rhythm. But let's be real, she's a nightmare to defend. Now as Clark's coach, White flips the script. Her mission is to push Clark out of her comfort zone, not to limit her, but to unlock new dimensions of her game. Caitlyn's still at the beginning of her journey, White emphasized.
In the league in defense, right? Like, we got to get to at least middle of the pack, all of those different things. And so as a competitor, it's exciting.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to coach generational talent.
She's got room to grow, and that's what excites me. We're not just coaching her to be great today. We're building a foundation for her to dominate for years to come. This season, White plans to challenge Clark to refine her decision-making, bolster her defensive presence, and harness her leadership to unify the Fever's roster. The supporting cast, a blend of grit and glory. While Clark is the centerpiece, White knows that basketball is a team sport. No one wins alone, she said, her voice steady with conviction. Even the brightest stars need a constellation around them. The Fever's roster is a tantalizing mix of seasoned veterans and rising stars, each bringing unique strengths to the table. Take Kelsey Mitchell, for instance. Often overshadowed by Clark's spotlight, Mitchell is a dynamo in her own right. Kelsey's one of the hardest workers I've ever seen, White said, recalling her days covering Mitchell at Ohio State for the Big Ten Network.
Be her best in challenging her to step outside of her comfort zone on the floor. I have the advantage of I was an opponent, right? And so scouting her and this is what we...
Her grit, her scoring ability, she's a cornerstone of this team. Then there's Aliyah Boston, a former generational talent herself before Clark's arrival. Aliyah's a force, White noted. Side's tenure was marked by a rigid, almost punitive coaching style. Clark, coming off a grueling college season with no proper break, faced immense scrutiny. Every turnover, every missed shot was dissected, often publicly. It was as if Clark was expected to be perfect from day one, a Fever insider remarked. The lack of acknowledgement for Clark's sacrifices, carrying the team through injuries and inconsistency, cast a shadow over her stellar rookie campaign. Rumors of a rift between Clark and Sides swirled, culminating in what many believe was a coaching shakeup driven by the front office. There's no way they didn't consult Caitlyn, a source close to the team said. The owner, the GM, they sat down with her, got her input. She's the future of this franchise. The decision to part ways with Sides and bring in White signaled a new direction, one that prioritizes player development and positivity. White's approach couldn't be more different. Where Sides was critical, White is constructive. Where Sides focused on flaws, White celebrates potential. I've never heard Stephanie speak more glowingly about a player, a commentator on our YouTube channel remarked. You could add up every compliment Christy Sides gave Caitlyn last season, and it wouldn't match the praise White heaps on her in a single interview.
We've game planned for you, and again, being that straight shooter, like okay, like these are the areas that we need to improve, and putting those pieces together while also thinking about the holistic version of.
Clark has responded to White's mentorship with renewed vigor. You can see it in her game, White said. She's playing with confidence, with freedom. She's embracing the challenge of being not just a star, but a leader. This shift in coaching philosophy could be the catalyst for Clark's evolution into one of the greatest players of her generation. The defensive imperative, one of White's top priorities, is transforming the Fever's defense. Last season, the team ranked 11th in the WNBA in defensive efficiency, a statistic White finds unacceptable. We can't compete for championships if we're giving up easy buckets, she said bluntly. We've got to get to at least the middle of the pack, and that starts with effort and accountability. White's defensive philosophy is rooted in teamwork and adaptability. Drawing from her time with the Connecticut Sun, where she coached a defensively stout squad led by players like DeWanna Bonner and Alyssathomas, White aims to instill a similar mindset in the Fever. Defense is about personnel, but it's also about heart, she said. We may need to make some roster moves, but the foundation starts with effort. For Clark, this means stepping up as a defensive leader. Caitlyn's got the IQ to be a disruptive defender, White noted. She reads the game so well offensively. We're teaching her to apply that same anticipation on the other end. White's goal is to create a defense that complements the Fever's high-octane offense, turning stops into fast break opportunities that showcase Clark's playmaking. Clark's broader impact. A cultural phenomenon beyond her on-court exploits, Caitlyn Clark is a cultural force. Her arrival in the WNBA has boosted viewership, filled arenas, and sparked conversations about the future of women's sports.
When you think about Caitlyn Clark and a generational talent, and the sometimes overlooked Kelsey Mitchell, who has been like one of the hardest workers that I've ever seen from the time.
She's not just a player, she's a movement, White said, marveling at Clark's impact. The growth she's brought to the game, it's unprecedented. Clark's influence extends off the court as well. She's a role model for young athletes, proving that passion and hard work can shatter stereotypes and set new benchmarks. Her games have forced teams to move to larger venues to accommodate surging crowds, a testament to her drawing power. She's making money for these franchises, White noted with a chuckle. And she's doing it while playing at an elite level. Yet with great fame comes great pressure. White, who navigated her own share of scrutiny as a player, sees herself as a mentor for Clark in this regard. I didn't have social media amplifying everything, White said. But I've been through the spotlight on a smaller scale. I want to help Caitlyn navigate the noise, stay focused on what matters. The road ahead, a season of possibilities. As the new season looms, the excitement surrounding the Indiana Fever is palpable. White's appointment has injected new life into the franchise, and Clark's growth under her guidance promises to be a storyline to watch. "The future's bright," White said, her voice filled with optimism. "We've got the pieces to build something special, not just for this season, but for years to come."
I was covering her at Big Ten Network, watching her at Ohio State. And then Aliyah Boston, who, you know, prior to Caitlyn Clark coming on the scene, was another generational talent and is, right? Like,
White's track record speaks for itself. In 2015, she led the Fever to the WNBA Finals, a feat fans hope she can replicate with this talented roster. Her player-centric approach, combined with her tactical acumen, makes her the ideal coach to unlock the Fever's potential. "I'm excited to work with these players," she said.
so it's like you think about the pieces that we have and putting that all together. I hope, number one, for Caitlyn, that I can be a resource. You know, I didn't have the same...
Caitlyn, Kelsey, Aliyah, they're going to go down in history as some of the greatest. My job is to help them get there. For Clark, this season is a chance to redefine her legacy, freed from the constraints of last year's critical oversight.
Stuff that she has on a global scale. You know, thankfully we didn't have social media at the time, which amplifies everything. But I've been through it on a small